In unit number 3, our next topic is in 3.3 section SPI, means serial peripheral interface, and this is the name of the vendor IEC, and the protocol name is GOOSE. This is the protocol name. You can remember this number as well, 61850. This is the protocol which is mentioned, GOOSE Protocol, specifically for the electric power system or substations, we can say. So this is very small topic, and the length of the video may not exceed 5 minutes. We will see with the SPI. This SPI bus was not that much renowned, not that much famous, not that much deployed, not that much utilized by the users or by the embedded system developers. So the famous buses are I2C, CAN, and most famous bus is USB. So SPI is, there is no details given by the designer of the SPI. That's why in our syllabus we have only features related to the SPI, and very limited features they have mentioned and advantages. So this is the only one slide which is dedicated for the SPI bus. The scope of the SPI is very less. There is no block diagram, there is no any frame format has been given, not been included in our syllabus. As per SPI is concerned, similar to the USB, it is also having 4 different pins. One is for data in, one is for data out, third pin is grounding, and to select the proper slave device, chip select is there. Now the thing is that you have to remember that it is a synchronous serial interface. That's why the master and slave both are following the same clock. There is no start bit, no stop bit, there is no interframe spacing is there. So this is about the synchronous serial communication. It is supporting many master device on the network. It can also support many slave device, and the difference between the previous I2C CAN is that this is a full duplex. I2C and CAN, they have support not full duplex, so it supports full duplex. As per advantages is concerned, its throughput is more than I2C, but they have not mentioned that what how much throughput is there, but only it is mentioned that the throughput is more than I2C. It is having very less power consumption, and slaves, they needs only the whatever the clock which is been followed by the master, the slave also follow that clock. That's why the these are the advantages of the SPI bus. So this is the only scope as per SPI is concerned. There is no frame format or the any block diagram related to the SPI. Now our next protocol is specifically designed for the power systems or the substations, we can say. That electrical substation comprised of the transformers, then the circuit breakers, it is having the capacitors network, it is having uh, uh, current transformers, like the devices, breakers. So these devices considered as an slave devices, and one master device is there which can control these devices. So in SCADA, in PLCs, when we form the network and we give the identification to the different slaves, and we can control them through the SCADA kind of the system. So similarly, one protocol is there. Its name is generic object oriented substation event. So that's its abbreviation is GOOSE, that generic object oriented substation event. So as per the introduction is concerned, it is dedicated for the substations, specifically electric. That's why the power systems is mentioned over here. It is utilized for the higher voltage systems, not for the middle voltage, not for lower voltage, but for the higher voltage level system, 230 volt, 400 or 11 kilo volts, in those ranges this is utilized. So It is a network of publisher, means the publisher is publishing the contents, and subscriber is subscribing to the resources which has been published by the publisher. So this is one terminology utilized in the GOOSE protocol, that publisher and subscriber. It is defined in 61850. It is very fast, it is very reliable, and as it is mentioned that this is the main thing, peer to peer means nodes can communicate with each other. If one circuit breaker fail, then it can give the information to the other breaker that this particular node is now fail, now you can continue with that particular network. So their communication is not utilizing the master devices resources, they can communicate exclusively instead of interfering or interrupting to the master device. So peer to peer communication is there, and that's why it is an intelligent electronic for the specifically intelligent electronic devices. That's why peer to peer and intelligent electronic devices, IED, this is the terminology utilized, because when peer to peer communication is there, obviously they are intelligent in a nature, they are not dumb nodes. Now, as per key features are concerned, their response time is typically less than 4 milliseconds. So, we can say that those are the fast systems. And peer to peer, I have already explained about the peer to peer, that devices exchange the messages directly without the central controller or master. It is event driven. Event driven means interrupt is asserted, and that when that interrupt is recognized, then it is treated as one event, and once we identify that event, then we can address to that event. So messages are sent only when an event occurs. So some action is going to be taken place when some event is going to be occurred. It is most reliable system. Repeated transmission of the same GOOSE messages ensures reception even if packets are lost. So even if there is a lost packets are there, so the mechanism is that if particular packets is going to be lost in the channel, so again that kind of the acknowledgement is going to be given to the master device to again resend the packets. It is having flexibility just like Ethernet. It supports multicast messaging system so that one master can send the messages to the slave devices. So how it works? It is having multicast framing system. So publisher can publish to the multiple slaves. So that system is called as a multicast system. It is having intelligent electronic devices containing the status information of all the subscribers. The messages has data sets. They have at what time it is been received, at what time we are sending, then what is the number of the state, in which state that particular frame is there, increments when the data is changes, sequence number is there, sequence for queue of the slaves mentioned. So this way it works actually. Its applications are in the interlocking system, specifically for the base stations, transformer, differential protection, fault indication, and these are the advantages, that it is eliminate the need for the hardwired. That's why instead of making much more complex network of the wire, it is eliminating the hardwire. So it is following some specific organized pattern of the wires, just like Ethernet, interoperable across the vendors due to the IEC. It is scalable in the nature. It has high reliability, specifically for the power systems. So this is very small topic about the SPI and the GOOSE protocol. SPI is dedicated for embedded systems communication in between the masters and slave, and GOOSE protocol is specifically for the power electronic system. So this is all about the 3.3. In the next session, we will see the wireless protocols. As per third unit is concerned, up till now, whatever we have seen, I2C, CAN and USB, SPI and the GOOSE protocol, all the 5 protocols belongs to the wired protocols. Now the remaining part and the last topic of this unit is wireless protocols. Those covers IRDA, Bluetooth and Zigbee.